Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of the Fiber and Dice podcast. It's always the Fiber
Still
and Dice
is.
podcast. Still is. I'm your host, Rebecca. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. Those are really about the only two places I keep up with social media. As Engineers Falcon, you can find the group on.
Revelry.
I need to write all these words out. I say this every time, don't I? Obviously,
Yes.
I'm not going to. You can find the Fiber and Dice podcast on Ravelry, and you can find show notes and some other stuff about the shop I will talk about in a few minutes at bluebonnetfibers.com. And you can find my shop, Bluebonnet Fibers, for handspun on Etsy. So, and anywhere you go, the Ravelry group or the bluebonnetfibers.com will have links to all of those things for you. So, and right now, and hopefully for a long time, the link to the Etsy shop is in my profile on Instagram. So you can find it there. Mr. Smith?
I am Charles. You can find me all those places and on Board Game Geek and kind of everywhere else on the internet as CS Gaiden. That's it. That's always short. It feels weird.
Yes, because
That's all there is.
Yeah. If you watch the podcast and enjoy it, I would like it if you would leave me an iTunes review. I mentioned last time I haven't really cared about that in the past, but some people who do like affiliates or sponsorships do care about that you like have followers that like you. So if you would not mind going and leaving a star review or a review or both, I would really appreciate it. Someone did that this week and I should have written down their name. I will mention you next week. Thank you for doing that. I guess we have got so much information that I don't even know where to start, except I wrote show notes, so I would know where to start. In my finished objects, I have finished the Galaxy handspun. This was Galaxy fiber from Fat Cat Knits. It is 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, 10% nylon, and I love it. It is live already in the Bluebonnet Fibers Etsy shop. So you should go buy it with a discount that I will talk about when we get there. I have also finished two books. I read a lot this week. Mostly I started and couldn't stop. I read The Engineer Traveled some last month.
Yeah, I guess it was. It was that, and then we went to Disney.
And then you haven't traveled since then.
No.
You were supposed to.
Yes.
While he was gone, I decided to play catch up on Brandon Sanderson. Now, this is a futile game because Brandon Sanderson literally writes faster than I can read. So, but I did get caught up on the Reckoner series. Book one is Steelheart, and I read it not long after it came out and enjoyed it. There is a short story called Mitosis, and I started with that as the reread because I'd forgotten I'd read it. So I listened to it on Audible, but when I listened to it, I realized that I had actually read it before. So did that, and then I picked up book two, which is Firefight, and it is really good. And it made me so glad that I'd waited to read it because as soon as I finished it, I had to start Calamity. This is a YA series.
Yeah.
But it's great. You know, we're not YA middle school snobs here. I read lots of middle grade books and enjoy them very much. So,
Okay. And it is if suddenly people started the series is if people suddenly started developing superpowers and then all turned evil.
yes. And would people even stay good if they had superpowers? It's a very interesting question. In fact, he wrote like the whole first, like had the books outlined on a trip. He was driving and had this random thought about.
Oh, he wanted to be able to clear traffic with his mind.
Yes, that's what it was.
I think involved lasers.
Yes. And then that started him thinking about people and what they would or wouldn't do with superpowers. And then 2 years later, he's published 3 amazing books in amongst the 1,000 he published during that time. So, but I really recommend these. Mine are 12 and 13. I think they are probably ready for them, but we will start them with Rhythmatist first. It is actually.
I think it's officially middle grade.
I think it's officially middle grade, but it might be YA. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
What we really started them on in Brandon Sanderson is the Alcatraz series. Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians is the first one. They were originally published by Scholastic, and the first 4 of the 5 books were published. Book 5 was not published. So eventually they got the rights back to them. They're being reprinted. We saw books 1 and 2 versus the Evil Librarians and the Scrivener's Bone.
Yes.
Alcatraz and the Scrivener's Bone we saw at Barnes & Noble on Sunday. So the first 2 are out. Over the next few months, 3 and 4 will be reprinted. And then 5, which we have not read, which I am so ready for because they're awesome, will be out on later this year, fall, right?
I think fall.
Fall 16.
Yeah.
If there's a date, I do not have it on my calendar yet. Book release dates get written as big as birthdays on the calendar in our house. They're a big deal. So the kids loved Alcatraz. I think they will like Rhythmatist, and the girl Geekling is excited to start Steelheart. So I told her she was close to being able to start that. So she's almost 12. I don't think there's anything really inappropriate in them. There's a little bit of a romance, but it's never inappropriate. And there's really nothing to speak of languagey. So I think she's good. I think the concept might still be a little over her head, but I don't know. She's pretty quick. So,
yeah.
But I enjoyed them very much, and I'm a big fan of Brandon Sanderson's, and we own, if have not read, everything he's written. So pretty much. I think there might be 1 or 2 random short story type things.
He's got a handful of short stories out there, but a lot of his books for adults are all part of like a shared universe, and we could probably do a whole podcast on that.
We could.
In fact, I'm reading one of those right now.
Yes.
In his Mistborn series.
Which I think you will have finished. You
can
talk about
I'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, on the next episode. And what did you finish, Mr. Smith?
The one I did finish, and I guess this was before our trip, and I just forgot to mention it, was Radiance by Catherine Valente. We started reading her middle grade books, The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland, in a Ship of Her Own Making.
It's great. In fact,
Go ahead.
I will be talking about book 5 next week. The Girl Who Raced Fairyland All the Way Home. I plan to have it finished before we film again. So,
and that's the end of that series.
Yeah.
This one is written for adults, and it is the story. That is.
You can talk with your hands if you want to.
Thank you.
I actually just have less glare.
Yeah. It is kind of an alternate universe where first, if the entire solar system was inhabitable, and so you would have life forms and other things. It's very pulp sci-fi, kind of the classic Buck Rogers universe, except that the Edison family has all the patent rights to talking movies. So everybody else makes silent movies, and they film them on the moon. And she's a daughter of one of these famous producers, and she has gone missing mysteriously. And so the whole book it's kind of experimental in some ways, because some of the chapters are screenplays or snippets from commercials that would have gone alongside the movies, or radio plays, so it's all very non-linear and
I like that,
non-contiguous. So it's definitely it took me probably a good third or maybe even 40% of the book to really wrap my head around what was going on where and how the timeline played out. But she doesn't have so many different areas that you lose track of them. It's once you kind of figure out where the handful of places are, they keep coming back over and over. So there's that repetition. So it was really good. I enjoyed it.
It's in my stack. It maybe 10th or 12th in my stack, which is actually pretty. Since the stack is like 200 books tall, 12 is actually really high in the stack. So, I think that's everything that we have put in the Mountain of Conquered Things for us this week. I was trying to think if we even finished anything with the kids. We're reading less with the kids now because they're grown up and want to read on their own, which is wonderful, but I kind of miss finishing a bunch of books with them.
Hopefully by the next time we record, I will have finished reading The Hobbit to them.
Yes, that's been so fun.
Smaug has left the Lonely Mountain. And the dwarves.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
What do I have climbing the mountain? I finished the first of the Farmer McGregor socks for my sister. These are on a sock base from Twist Fiber Studios.
Yes.
I'm almost completely sure that's right. The engineer said it's right. It's right.
Sounds right.
This is what the first one looks like. So in love with it. Now, I will say, just because it's not going to match pictures, I am using the Farmer McGregor texture. I'm using my own made-up custom fit pattern for the actual sock. The toe, it's a fish lips kiss heel, and then a 2x2 rib cuff. So I don't even remember what toe and heel. I don't even know if it's, no, it is toe up. The pattern is written toe up because I didn't have to reverse it to put this on it. So, but I love it. I think they may be some of my favorite socks ever. The lattice pattern is just pretty awesome, and it fit my sister's foot perfect, which is what I'm shooting for on the first try. I didn't even have to rip it out.
That's what the 4th pair you've made with this pattern?
Fit on the first try.
Yeah.
It is worth it to swatch socks if you're the kind of person who's picky about it. And 2, if you usually have to rip your socks out 4 or 5 times, then swatching, way less work than that. So, and then I've got the second one on the needles. That's my little marker to mark, which is the front side once I get up on the round. Well, then it's got the heel, but I need this to keep me straight. It makes me feel comfortable. I put the heel in last night, and then throughout the day worked on getting the leg started. So I really would like to have these to give her this weekend over Easter. So not really as Easter gifts because she bought the yarn herself, but have them done and off the plate. Maybe turn them in for something for House Cup. So I'm excited about that. The other thing that is on the wheel is the fiber is called Periwinkle Sky. I got it from Fat Cat Knits. I am doing 4 braids of this, but I've got it on 2 different bases. I have 2 on this variegated dark and light base, and then 2 on a bamboo base that makes obviously considerably different colors. So I'm going to spin them up as, I guess, a spin lot. I don't know what you call it, but I'm going to do all 4 ounces of the dark at the same time, and then all 4 ounces of the light. So what I will do, so that if you want to buy them, so you will have 2 skeins instead of 1 to work with, or 4 if you wanted to mix and match them, is I will spin 4 singles onto 4 separate bobbins, and then I will apply the first and the last together, and then the middle 2 together, so that if my gauge changed as I spun, I will compensate for that a little bit by pairing them off that way. So the first bobbin is finished. This, I've already got this one unfolded because I'm about halfway through it. It's on the wheel over there, is the second skein. I mean, this is single 2 of 4. So, and I'm just splitting, I unbraided the fiber, split it in the middle, and I'm spinning from that split down on all 8 singles. So eventually those will show up in the shop. If I show anything that you are interested in that is not up in my shop yet, feel free to PM me on Etsy or on Ravelry and tell me you would like it. I guess that leads right into shop news.
Yes.
Everything I have spun is finally up in my shop. We have been working on this for a year to get everything photographed and up, and a lot of stuff that I had photographed previously, I rephotographed once I got a new camera, much better resolution. I don't have to Photoshop anything. We've worked it out where I can take the picture and put it up online. I'm very pleased. I'm not, smug is not the right word, but once I figured out how to use my camera, how to use natural lighting, finding different surfaces to take pictures on, it became fun. And so instead of this drudgery chore of having to photograph my yarn so I could put it up online, it's fun. I look forward to it. I finished stuff so that I can go down to the green and take pictures. So, but it has taken about, like I said, about a year of work to get everything tagged, figure out how I'm going to price stuff, get everything uploaded. So, since the shop is full, and technically it's not full because I can put lots more up there, but everything that I've got is up. So since the shop is full, I'm going to give you guys a 20% discount on anything you want from the shop. Use the, I'm sorry, I got real excited and then my throat started hurting because I got all squealy. Coupon code FULLSHOP20, FULLSHOP20 at checkout, and 20% off anything you order from the Bluebonnet Fibers Etsy shop. So I'm very excited. Obviously, this would not be up in there yet. If there is, this is where I was going with all of this. order handspun. It's really pretty over there.
Mm.
But on the bluebonnetfibers.com webpage, you can find, I could even bring it up, couldn't I?
Yes.
I have internet right here in front of me. Charles is going to find it. There is a link to all of the fiber that is in my stash, not the big lots, but all the single braids that is in my stash. And there is a price on those. So this is kind of what the website looks like. And over here, there's a link that says pick it before I spin it. And you will find everything that is in my stash that is waiting to be spun. There's lots of pretties there. I like to look at this page just because I like to look at them. If you see something that you like, you will notice that has a price under it. That is, nope, above it. So like this one is Sugar Mint. It is $37.50. It's from Wool Gatherings. It's 85% silk merino, 15% silk. That is the price it would cost if you want that spun up. It is a discounted price to what it will be when it goes in the shop eventually. So if you would like to look and see what I've got, and if there's anything pretty you want, I will bump you to the top of the calendar, and I will spin for you next. So just a way that if you want dibs on something early, you are welcome to it. But there's also almost 25 fibers. Some stuff is sold, so I don't think there are 25 up anymore. But there's also lots of spun stuff in the shop. But the way to get the discount price is to order it before I spin it, because how I figure the price is based on yardage. And if I don't have a final yardage yet, then I price it a little low so that, I won't cheat you out of yarn. So if there is any of this you want, there will be 2 braids of this and 2 braids of that. If you PM me about those, I will put the discounted rate on that for you. So, and you can go ahead and put your name on them if you would like. So, this is the first time in like years, probably 3 years, that I haven't had a commission spin on the list. So, yeah, because everything I spun that first year was commission. And then I've done some for the shop and some commission this year. And now I've really been focusing on getting stuff up in the shop. But now that it's all up, I'm ready to start doing some commission spinning again. So those are some options for you. So check out the shop. Buy something if you want. Full Shop 20 is the code. It will be good until the last day of March. So happy spring. Go buy handspun yarn.
Yay.
Yay. I'm going to skip this because we are already at 20 minutes. I am very excited to share a new giveaway from Cece. I'll find it.
Okay.
I just had to switch apps. Cece and I, like our paths crossed, barely missing each other in West Texas our entire lives. And after she was getting ready to move to Scotland, she and I actually became friends. So she is like one of my internet friends that could have been a real life friend if our paths had crossed just a little bit differently when we were younger. But she has just published her first print book, and it is called Coffee with Cece. And she was sweet enough to send me a copy to review, and she's going to give one of my viewers a copy, a digital copy, to win. So what I'm going to do is when I close this podcast, I will open a thread, go in there, tell me you would like to win the book. And the first podcast, and this will be the last March podcast, the first April podcast, I will draw for a winner for that and get you in touch with her. I have to tell you, I am pretty enamored with this book. I have been knitting her sock patterns for quite a while. I've done quite a few of them. And so I was excited about this when she first announced it. And I was even more excited when she said I could review it on the podcast. So the book is very beautiful. The pictures are gorgeous. There is lots and lots of information. There are 7 sock patterns and 1 shawl. There's 4 of the socks. And the other 3 socks and the shawl, which her daughter is modeling and looks gorgeous. I'm going to try being back again. This has not gone well. So patterns from the Coffee with Cece book, which is awesome. Okay, I thought I had this down where I would not have to like flip back and forth. I could just show you the patterns. Okay, this is the Espresso Macchiato socks. And let me tell you, she has these ranked by difficulty by coffee cups. How many cups of coffee you need for it. So adorable. So this one is ranked 2 cups of coffee. And it is a stripy sock with a little pattern on one color of the stripes. So very cute. Actually, I think the first one in the book, I got out of order, I'm sorry, is the French Vanilla Cappuccino socks. They are a great sock. This is a 1 cup of coffee sock. There is lots of information in here about how to measure your foot and how to knit a sock and the difference between toe up and cuff down and all those kinds of things. So this sock is great for learning how to knit a sock. If you don't know how to do that yet, you should. It's awesome. Or she mentions, and this is very, very true, a sock like this is a great palette for taking textures and patterns that you want to play with and putting them into socks. So if you're looking for something that would give you a good canvas to work different patterns on, this is a great choice. After the Espresso Macchiato pattern is, I'm going to come back to my favorite. I'm going to save that one for next. So I guess the next pattern after that would be the Caramel Latte socks. It is rated 3 cups of coffee. And I like this one too a lot, you guys. I love the zigzag pattern, like the drizzle of the caramel is gorgeous. I knit a lot of socks with semi-solid or tonal colors, and this is perfect for that. This is probably my second favorite pattern in the whole thing. So I like it a lot. The shawl in here is the Coffee Date shawl for wearing on dates with coffee. It is rated 3 stars, and I love it. And Damaris is so beautiful modeling the shawl. She uses 3 different colors on it, and they have alternating different textures on each section. I think there's a picture with her holding it out. Yeah, there it is. So you can kind of see the shape, which I like a lot. It gives you lots of versatility in the way you wear it. The pattern after that is the Strawberries and Cream Frappe socks. They are 4 cups of coffee, and I like them a lot too. I think they're right up there with the Caramel Latte socks for my second favorite. And can I just tell you guys how much I love the coffee theme in this book, because I'm a sucker for Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I love all sorts of coffee drinks. I love coffee drinks that you don't get at Starbucks. I love to make my own coffee drinks. So this was right up my alley. And the other pattern, I think there's one more down here. Oh yes, and this one, I fell in love with this when she put this out a couple years ago, last fall. It is 5 coffee cups, and I'm going to knit it next fall. It is the I Love You More Than Pumpkin Spice socks. There are a couple things that I really love about these socks. One is that she alternated the heels and toes on them, so I think they're really fun. And this pumpkin cable up the front is fabulous. I bought these before, and I would have bought them again because they are so gorgeous. I think that the engineer and I next fall will have matching pumpkin spice socks.
Nice.
I don't know if you can hear me. She's like, nice, yes. But I have to say the first thing I'm going to do from these, because I love it the very best, are the, I'm scrolling through, peppermint mocha socks. They are rated 2 cups of coffee, which is just perfect for knitting during school days when the kids are working and I'm overseeing all of that. They are a slip stitch pattern, which I am so into slip stitches right now. It is crazy. They are my favorite designs. In fact, I've started a collection of slip stitch patterns because I'm totally into them. And these slip stitches look like the stripes of a candy cane wrapping up the leg of the sock. Yeah, how cool is that? So, I'm really tickled about all of this. And I have to say, Cece, you messed up my cue. I had plans for what I was knitting next, and now I have to rearrange them to get these socks in. So, that's the best way to have your cue messed up, I guess. Awesome sock patterns. You can, like I said, you can enter to win. We will draw next podcast, or you can just go and buy it. I have lost internet. Seriously. I will link in the show notes to the site. You can find the digital patterns on Ravelry, and I will link to her website where you can order paper copies of the books. So that link will be in there. I have to say, you should enter to win it or go buy it because I love it. I love it. I'm pondering a knit along with it. I have not made any commitment, but I'm thinking that whenever I cast those peppermint mocha socks on, that I'm going to see who wants to cast them on with me. So, go get them. So that wraps up the giveaway part, which leaves us to two more things that I will need the engineer for, because it is our first Ask Us Anything question and Gamerly News. So we will come and film those after dinner. So we're back.
Hello.
Hello. Still us. Same day. Less lipstick. We started last week a thread on the Fiber and Dice Ravelry forum for Ask Us Anything, where you can ask us anything you want about games or homeschooling or books or spinning or knitting or Disney or whatever. So, and we will answer them. And we had someone ask questions this week, so that was really fun. But this is the only question I've got, so go add some more so we will have things to talk about in this segment, and it won't go, away because nobody cared what we thought about anything. This was from Katie Jane 82, and she asked us a couple questions, and we've had a bit of discussion about these this week. It's been kind of fun.
Yeah.
Her first question is, what do we choose for a quick pick up and play game when we have 5 minutes? 15 minutes. Although some of these we can't play in 5 minutes. So what things do we play when we just want something quick and fast to pick up and play? And our first choice, we both thought of Love Letter. Yeah. It is possible for games of Love Letter to go longer than 15 minutes, but you can stop anytime you want. I can stop anytime I want.
That's what they all say.
That's what they all say. And we've played, I think all, or almost all of the Love Letter variations.
Yeah.
And they're all fun and they're all quick.
We include in that Lost Legacy, which is by the same designer, but it's not. All the cards do something very different from what they do in Love Letter or Hobbit Love Letter or Batman Love Letter. All of those have the same card, basically the same text on the cards.
Some of them have a different, like we've got Hobbit Love Letter right here. It has a few variations on the standard rules, but pretty much it's the same cards, the same, there are a few little rule differences, but the Lost Legacy series does have quite a few.
Yeah, none of the cards are the same.
None of the cards match.
Yeah.
It's still the same concept. You draw a card, you play a card, you're working to find a specific card in the deck. Just the setup's a little different. We also thought of
Pairs.
Pairs comes in lots of different skins. There are pirates, there are barmaids, there's fruit, there's quite a few. If you're a fan of Pat Rothfuss, there are a couple.
There are a couple in his universe.
Yeah, just different things in his universe. There's a goblin deck.
They keep making new ones.
Yes, which we haven't bought because we bought 5 on the Kickstarter, 6 on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So we haven't added any more. But I do like having multiples because I keep one in the car and one in the purse and a couple in the house. Yeah. So we have it wherever we go. And this game, you can play like one full round in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's quick and easy, and we like it.
Yep.
Another pick up and play easy one, we talked about this one when we backed on Kickstarter, is Best Treehouse Ever. These are all pretty family friendly. The kids started playing Love Letter at 9, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So, and pairs can be played by, I don't know, 6 and up, probably.
Probably.
The pairs have jumped into the floor, so we're going to leave them there. Best treehouse ever is 2 to 4 players. I don't remember.
It's like 15. It might say 30 minutes. It does say 30. Usually, I don't know. Once you know what you're doing, it goes a little quicker.
Yeah.
Also, depending, like if it's just the two of us playing, it definitely goes quicker.
We can play in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With
More
the
people
kids,
or younger players, it's going to take a little longer because you've got more thought going on.
but still, once you know the rules, well under half an hour.
Yep.
I also wrote down. Oh, talk about this one since we don't own it, and I'll grab the other two.
Escape, Curse of the Temple, and there's Escape. There's a zombie themed one. I don't remember what episode it was, but
It's called Escape.
Yeah, the episode is called Escape. We actually played this live on the podcast because it is literally no longer than 10 minutes because there's a timer built into the game, and if you don't
escape
from the temple within 10 minutes, then you lose.
Yeah, so never more than 10 minutes for it. Takes a couple of minutes to set up and break down, but not too bad. The other two we put are Die Monsters.
Which we've also talked about.
Yep, and it is, let me see, 2 to 6 players, 20 minutes, 10 plus. So it's fast, it's fun, we laugh a lot.
Yep.
I always lose, but I still keep playing because it's fun. And then we talked about this on last episode, is Cat Tower. Again, it is short, it is fast. Again, it's one that you wouldn't even have to play all the way to the end. You know, like a time filler. You know, you've got 10 minutes before you leave the house. You could sit down and play until it was time to leave and then pack it up. And, I mean, you won't find out who won, but you will have done something fun and constructive-ish. You build a tower. Didn't mean that to come out that way, but it was funny to me. So, that is our little list of our pick up and play games.
Yeah.
The next question was, what do you play for Epic Family Game Night? I'm a big fan of Epic Family Game Night. D&D. We've started playing D&D last year. This is our second year.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take one quest and play it for hours and hours and hours if you want.
Yeah.
We are maybe halfway through the starter book for it. And I bet we play an hour and a half per session at least once a month.
Yeah.
And so...
we probably put 15 to 20 hours in.
And we're not even halfway through the first little teeny tiny skinny starter book. I don't know how long it's take us to play through the great big thick ones. And we do enjoy doing that as a family. Just the 4 of us play. We don't have an outside group to play with at this time. Yeah. So
a couple times we brought in your sister.
Yes, and it's fun to bring people in on occasion.
Yeah. We just have an extra character and then they can kind of pop in and out.
She got an epic battle named after her in the game she played.
Yes.
It was pretty fun. So we do that. We tend to do that on Sunday afternoons after we've traveled. Sometimes if we come home early, we just kind of camp out. We played in the car too.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great trip when I ran those scenarios in the car. So car trips are better for questing and talking to people adventures than they are for big battles where everyone needs to roll initiative and keep everyone in order and flip back and forth to see who has how many hit points and which
spells they've used.
Yes,
and how the spell works.
So we had a large town to explore, so I used the trip about an hour each way on that trip to explore that town and talk to people, and they gathered probably 7 or 8 quests to pick from the next time we
really
played.
Felt like Skyrim.
Yeah.
You just kind of wander around town and this guy's got a quest. This guy's got a quest. And
sure, I'll join your guild. And, like 6 guilds later, you don't know where to start. So that was pretty fun. Mice and Mystics is one that we pull out. Again, the 4 of us play a lot, and that one's fun to bring people into. You can just kind of fill them in where you are in the quest, and that story theme that you keep playing the same story through really brings us back.
Yeah.
We have 3 on the list that we have not played yet, but that we own. They're on our list of things to learn this year, and they are
Robinson Crusoe, which is what we gather from hearing we heard a lot of good buzz about it. But it is more difficult on the higher end of the difficulty scale. It's cooperative and it takes a few hours per play session from what we've gathered.
So I hope to add that to our epic list. We also have Firefly, which we have pulled out twice now, and we have not made it all the way through a game yet because I get overwhelmed because it's huge. But I want to learn that one. I really do. And then we got for our anniversary last year. No,
Yeah.
it was later than that. No, anniversary,
Yeah.
October. We didn't get married in February. We
No.
had Keegan in February.
Yes.
Different Februaries. The Battle of the Five Armies game. So that looks like it has the potential for epicness. But
Yeah.
and as we play those this year, I will tell you how epic they really were and what we thought of them.
Yep.
The other one that we have on this list, which dovetails into her third question, which is what expansions have we played and do we recommend for Pandemic? I would say that Pandemic Legacy is part of our epic game night because
Yeah. It's usually an hour and a half or more for the two of us and her sister. That's kind of the group we're going through.
Yeah.
Again, it's got the overarching story. It's not an expansion. It's by itself. And then, well, basically, as you play through it, there's little mini expansions that you unlock.
Do you see that I like this story theme running through my games?
We
It's one
do
of the
like
things I
very
like about
thematic story-driven games.
Lord of the Rings card game and Pathfinder card games because
Yeah.
we're playing a group of characters through a scenario, and I like that really well.
But the other is there's Standard Pandemic, which you talked about a while back.
Yes, and we talked about Pandemic Legacy a little bit too, and I
Yes.
think it's actually in the show title.
Yeah.
Something about Pandemic Legacy. It's awesome.
Mhm.
There was actually an article posted this week that said, "Is Pandemic Legacy fun?" And everyone in our group answered differently. I said, "No." I do not like that tension. I am captivated and I like the challenge, but I do not think it's fun per se because it makes me so tense and so nervous and I get so worked up about it.
Yeah.
But and Charles is pretty chill about everything. So
Well,
he's
I
like,
enjoy the new challenges because every month in the game, it's like you've kind of figured out what the latest wrinkle was, and now there's a new wrinkle. So
Yeah.
you're like right always on the edge of
something
being
new.
overwhelmed, but also kind of figuring things out, and
So good.
it's really well done.
And my sister just thinks it's flat out fun
Yeah.
because she loves that kind of stuff. So don't take me not thinking it's fun as a criticism. That is actually probably a pretty good endorsement for it because I go to Disney to watch people ride rides. You know, I don't want to ride them, but I want to hear all about the fun you had on them. So, and I like to watch the rides that someone has taken their camera on the ride and filmed the ride.
yeah.
I like to watch those, but I don't want to ride it myself. So, but the actual expansions for Pandemic, I will say there are some story scenarios on the Pandemic board game website
Yeah.
that you can download and play through some.
Yeah, they're almost scenarios. It's like
Yeah,
set up
they're-
the board in this configuration and have these couple of extra rules.
And
Go
those
for
are
it.
free, if
Yeah,
I remember
I
correctly. You
believe
can
they are.
download those free. So you can kind of give a taste of what some of the expansion-y stuff is like just by doing that. The actual expansions are In the Lab, State of Emergency, and On the Brink, which are, well, we have played
On the brink.
On the Brink, and we enjoyed it. It adds a fifth disease that does bad things, and it was fun.
Yeah. And there's a couple of different ways you can play just with that.
Just that one expansion, yeah, has different.
There's that. There's different modes of epidemics
Yep.
where each one does something different instead of just all. The original ones are bad. These tend to be worse.
Worse.
And then they also introduced the bioterrorist, where you actually have one person versus the rest of the group.
Yep.
Um,
So, the other two we have not played, and I will tell you why we have not played them. And this is just interesting trivia if you've been playing Pandemic a long time or you're new to it. We have the old version of Pandemic. We were playing Pandemic before it was cool enough to reprint, apparently. But the most Pandemics that you buy in the store now are the new version of Pandemic. Our version of Pandemic is not compatible with the expansions. That said, there's an easy fix for that. You can purchase an inexpensive converter kit online. We just haven't gotten around to it because
keep getting all the other new things.
we keep getting all the other new things, and so we have not gone and gotten that. But that is on the list for us to get, and as we play, I think when we finish Pandemic Legacy, it is going to be a little hard to go back to just
Yeah.
vanilla Pandemic.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that we're dealing with. So I think that after we have finished the legacy box, that we will probably start playing the expansions to add some different challenges to it, different from the original. So
Yeah.
I will, again, as we get those, I will give you more information on them. The other thing that we played, and we actually played it this week, is Pandemic the Cure.
Yes.
And I don't know where it is, but
It's
it
over
is.
by Catacombs.
Where? Oh, there it is. It's a great big huge blue box. I don't know how I missed it. It is a dice rolling cooperative, kind of scaled back version of Pandemic.
It is. It would almost. It's not quite short enough to fit in the answer to the first question. It's still probably. Well, the other night it took us 30 minutes for the two of us, so 30 to 40 minutes, whereas standard Pandemic's usually an hour
Hour
or
and a
more.
half. Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely a little less stressful
Yes.
than standard Pandemic, and definitely less stressful than Pandemic Legacy.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm looking at the clock.
Right. We should probably. No.
No, we can't. There's not time. I don't think.
Okay.
But bring the boxes over here. Bless poor Lovecraft's heart. This will be the second
cursed.
week I have he is cursed. That I have talked so long that we did not get around to our game of the week, which is still going to be Elder Sign, which I'm excited to talk to you guys about. But to talk about that, I would like to talk a little bit about the Lovecraft version games. Ooh, and we can bring Miss Katonic back from Sister's
good,
house. So here are some of the games set in
Yeah.
the Lovecraft
Arkham
mythos, the Arkham.
mythos.
So, but I want to give those an ample amount of time. I don't want to rush through them just because we are out of minutes for this month. So
Cool.
I think we will postpone that one more week. And this was kind of the everything about Pandemic.
Yeah, that's more or less the featured game.
So Pandemic is for the third time the feature game of the week.
It is that good.
Yeah, it is that good. We love it. There is a card game called Pandemic Contagion. I've heard very mixed reviews about it, so we have not picked it up yet. It is one that if we had a local game store that had a library that it was in, I would probably pick up and play and see if I liked it, but not one that I have not yet been convinced to spend hard-earned money on it because I have not heard good enough things about it. So again, if it like Cool Stuff Inc. had it on sale for, sometimes they run stuff 70, 80, 90% off, I might pick it up then just to try it and play it. But I'm not going to pay full price for it because I haven't heard that good of reviews. If you have played it and liked it or hated it, please let me know because
we'd love
I
to
was
hear other
excited.
opinions.
Yeah, I was excited when they announced it, and then I was kind of bummed when the reviews they came back. So,
To tie these two topics together.
tie these two topics together, the Lovecraft and the Pandemic. This year they are coming out with Pandemic Cthulhu. I am so excited. I hope it's awesome. So that was going to be my segue between Pandemic and
But
Elder
they're-
Sign, but
Yeah, they're talking like a late summer, early fall release for that. But the preview images that came out of some trade show last week that I was seeing online were lots of miniatures in it, as well as you're going around the city of Arkham, Massachusetts, which is kind of where a lot of the Lovecraft stories take place, and trying to keep everybody sane.
that's like an auto buy for me. It's like shut up and take my money because those are two of my favorite things, and you put miniatures in there, and I'm a sucker for it. So, come and ask us anything. Don't forget the full shop 20 coupon for the Bluebonnet Fibers Etsy shop.
And enter the contest for Coffee with Cece.
Yep. So, I'll probably put that thread up before this even goes live. So, Lord willing and the creek don't rise. We will see you guys again in early April. Bye.
Bye.